Okay, we're back. Alive Innovations here welcomes you. But regarding this report, we're looking at the calcification on this page and moving on here. Now we see we can look at the brain and nerve function and how that impacts the body. We also can look at if there's any specific subluxations or inflammatory. Now when we see a low number here, typically we refer this, in this case, it would be more or less a potentially a mineral deficiency or a subluxation issue that's potentially causing that slight degeneration. And the transverse is true if it's on the high side, more of an inflammatory response. And these are indicators that change with each section of and each item that you're in, really, as you're reading the overall report. As we're looking through here on this page, the system does give a full CBC report, which is energy-based. It's as close as we can possibly get to getting an actual CBC based off of energy. But the nice thing about this is it's very quick, usually just a few 6 minutes or so. You can have this scan done, and you can look at the overall view. So we see that the monocytes in this case are a little bit high. They're elevated into the 6, but not horrible. So that would not be something I would necessarily focus on because it may be more symptomatic than anything. But when people want to know what the primary issues are, one of the biggest areas that I go to on page 9 is the Chinese meridian points. So when I want to look to where in the body the primary issues are, I'll look at, there's 3 areas here so far that we see. Now these were 8s, so that was, and then the liver was unchanged by frequency. So these would be more or less developing as an immune response. So these have an immune response of 7, and so the kidney and heart would be primary, and then I would look at this and say liver is secondary, but sometimes those secondaries are just as important as the primary, because as you can see, the liver was actually one of the items that was unchanged by the frequency optimization as of yet. We see 1 small intestine, so there's a slight GI issue, was a 3. And this kind of coincides with how the body is breaking down proteins as well. We also have here other Chinese meridian points that you can look up. What's great about this is you can also find this in the vitals report here. Let's reactivate that. English. Oh, must be being updated right now, so we can't access it. But anyway, we'll look at this report here. And so the 9, governing, we look at that definition on the website. And those definitions tend to give you a lot of good information as far as where you can go into the body and be able to understand what is going on as far as the primary items. So if we look at the governing item, that was under the Chinese meridian extended. And let's see if we have, that is the governing one here. So what we would do typically is go to this website and find out the governing it's a meridian channel. Really, it deals a lot with the structure, the spinal cord, spinal fluid, swelling, the head, and so forth. So it basically deals with the brain and the head. But we would also look at these chakra points too. The sacral chakra point is off. This would be something that we would address. So those are the primary issues. We'll follow this up again in another video. We'll look at the collagen as a primary issue here. We see some issues with the collagen, but we'll follow this up in the next video.